There are 4 states affected by this oil spill, and fortunately Florida gets to learn from the experience of Louisiana, Mississippi, and Alabama, and hopefully they will. In those states, there simply have not been enough boots on the ground or boats in the water or people in those boats who are able and authorized to pick up oiled wildlife. We know that with the thousands of boats that have at least allegedly been deployed, almost every one of those is encountering oiled wildlife almost every day. The trouble is that none of them, unless they are specifically authorized, may touch an oiled wild animal, be it a turtle, a bird, or any other creature that is affected. They simply have to call it in to the Unified Incident Command, and then hopefully somebody will respond to find that animal. Well, we hope here in Florida that that lesson of the other states has been learned, and it seems to have been. We are hearing that at least the people most qualified to respond to oil incidents in Florida, and there are many people with the training, with the experience, and with previous on-the-job opportunities, have been notified recently that the spill is coming this way, the tar balls are reaching the panhandle, and sooner or later they're coming here to the Keys. But I guess we'll have to wait and see, because even those people who have been notified, the experienced wildlife rehabilitators, the experienced people in the capture and handling and transport of wildlife, are being told that before they can touch an animal, they must become a contractor of BP. There's something terribly wrong with that picture. Back in 1989, the largest oil spill that had at that time occurred in the United States occurred when the Exxon Valdez ran onto Bly Reef in the area off Alaska in Prince William Sound, and 11 million barrels of oil, and a barrel of oil being 42 gallons, spilled into Prince William Sound, a pristine waterway. Now, of course, that situation was very different. The water is cold, so the oil stayed together. Dispersants weren't used, so the oil floated on the surface and could be picked up. And the shoreline is very, very different. In this situation, we're talking orders of magnitude more oil in the water, dispersants being used so that the oil is dispersed through the waterway. And yet one must wonder why, in that previous situation, a call was put out for all hands on deck. Anyone with the proper training, the proper credentials, the proper experience was not only invited, but was requested to come to Alaska and help deal with the more than 250,000 animals that were known and documented to have been affected by that spill. And again, that spill much smaller than this. Well, in this spill, all of the standard procedures seem to have been ignored. Instead of putting out a call for trained people have been put on notice. Stay away. We don't need you. We don't want you. You can't enter the area. The media was watching what was happening in Prince William Sound when the Exxon Valdez oil gushed into the pristine waters off Alaska. We knew what was going on. We were informed of where the oil was going, and we knew what the response was. In this situation, cloak of silence has been put over the entire operation, and yet we know that there are many more animals involved. We know that the habitat is far more fragile. We know that the marine environment is far more vulnerable, and yet somehow the interests of the corporations seem to have been put ahead of the interests of the environment, and indeed ahead of the interests of the American people. We just don't know where this is going to end. And we need to understand that the impacts of this spill are not just going to be in the Gulf of Mexico. The wildlife coming to the Gulf and using it as habitat are migratory species. Some of those birds will go to the Arctic Circle for their nesting grounds. Others will go all the way into the deep heart of South America and Central America to spend the winters. These animals are not ours to destroy. They are everyone's animals. They are part of the hemisphere's natural heritage, our culture, our natural history, and they're all being put at risk, and we, the public, are being kept at bay. That has to change.